Toronto real estate prices remained pretty much unchanged compared to last month, but that doesn't make for great headlines. What I always find quite interesting is how news outlets report on the Toronto real estate market, especially when the Toronto Real Estate Board releases their monthly data. Yahoo Finance reports that Toronto home prices fall for a third straight month in August, which is technically true, but fall might be a bit of an overstatement, as we'll see in this video. BNN Bloomberg reports Toronto home price rebound ends as high rates weigh on the market. And the Toronto Star reports Toronto house prices drop a second month in a row amid fears of another rate hike. Now, what's crazy to me is that Yahoo Finance and the Toronto Star can report different timelines for market conditions. Is this the third straight month for price deceleration, or is it the second? Well, if you just read headlines and didn't dig deep into the actual data, you wouldn't know. That's why basing your real estate decisions on mass media news articles may not be the right choice. In this video, we are going to walk through the data for each asset class in the city of Toronto and the general GTA data. My name is Macallum, and I'm a real estate agent in the city of Toronto. And if you want to get in touch with me to chat about buying, selling, or just about the real estate market, you can drop down to the description where there's a link for you to book a meeting directly into my calendar at a time that works best for you. Once you book a meeting in my calendar, I'll give you a call. This meeting is a great opportunity if you're a homeowner wanting to learn more about the current market value for your property, or you're a buyer who wants to know more about the process and the market activity in the particular pockets of the city you want to be purchasing in. And if you learn anything from this video, all I ask is that you take a few seconds to hit both the like and subscribe buttons. I'm trying to reach 500 subscribers by the end of 2023, and we're actually closing in on that number. I think we can get into the actual numbers now, but before we do that, as I was recording this video, the Bank of Canada has just released that they will be holding the interest rate. And we'll get into what that could mean for the Toronto real estate market a little bit later in this video, so stick around. The first set of data is for the entire Toronto Real Estate Board, meaning the data is coming from not just the city of Toronto. It's pulling sales information from markets like Mississauga, Brampton, Pickering, Ajax, Vaughan, etc. We'd more consider this GTA data. The number of sales dropped 5.2% from August of 2022 to August of 2023. And the average sale price was not really changed from August of 2022 to August of 2023, sitting just shy of 1.1 million. We just looked at the sales being down 5.2%. New listings are up 16.2%. Active listings are up 16.5%. Average price is up just 0.3%. Listing days on market is down 9.1%. And property days on market is down 17.6% from last year. I think what most people are going to take away from that data right there is that the average price in the GTA has remained pretty much unchanged since August of 2022, which to me is quite incredible considering there have been 5 rate increases since then. Now, what I want to do is jump into the City of Toronto specific data. So from now until the end of this video, the data we're going to be talking about does not include areas outside of Toronto. Kicking it off with average price, because I can only assume that's what everyone wants to see. Detached homes currently sit at an average price of 1.64. Semis are around 1.24. Townhouses are 1.2, and condo apartments are $724,000. Like I mentioned earlier in this video, average price across most asset classes in the city of Toronto remains unchanged. In fact, the average price is up from August 2022 to now for both semis and townhouses. The sales to new listings ratio is very interesting to me this month because we saw a drastic decline into a balanced and a buyer's market in June and July. However, we're now seeing an uptick in this metric. We're now in a balanced market across all asset classes, a very similar market to what we experienced back in Q2 and Q3 of 2022. The number of new listings in each asset class dropped, with condo apartment new listings dropping fairly dramatically in August. And the number of sales in August is somewhat of a mixed bag, with townhouses increasing very slightly from 50 to 55, semis dropping from 168 to 138, detached dropping from 518 to 451, and condo apartments actually increased by 73 sales. With the number of sales not dropping off as much as the number of new listings, we saw some of the available inventory get absorbed. There was one stat I was really looking forward to seeing in the August data report from TRREB, and that was the number of active listings at the end of the month. And the reason I was very intrigued by this stat was because we were seeing such an increase in the number of active listings since the beginning of 2023. Every month, we were seeing more and more new listings, but we were also seeing them sit on the market. But I mean, with that said, traditionally, we do see more listings during the spring. Overall, there are fewer active listings across all asset classes at the end of August than there were at the end of July. Okay, so let's call it a day with the data and jump back to the Bank of Canada's rate announcement that I mentioned earlier in this video. As you know, the Bank of Canada held the interest rate on September 6th the other day. But what does that mean for the real estate market? Rates were last held in early 2023 when we were heading into a spring market, which is traditionally a strong time of year for the real estate market. So holding rates coupled with a traditionally strong time of year resulted in price escalation. Do I think the same thing happens again in the fall? I don't. I don't think we see the same upwards pressure. And I think that for two main reasons. One, buyers and sellers can feel a little more confident now, but they're still going to need to see another hold from the Bank of Canada. And two, we're seeing more people take fixed rate mortgages as opposed to variable because of the difference in rate between fixed and variable. Fixed is cheaper than variable still at this time. But the Bank of Canada policy rate is not what impacts fixed rate mortgages. It's the Government of Canada 5-year bond yield that has influence over the pricing of fixed rate mortgages. And the 5-year bond yield right now is around 4%. And of course, that is subject to change. But the difference between today and Q2 of 2023 is that the Canada 5-year bond yield dropped significantly to around 2.5% to 3%, which meant you could get money for cheaper at that time compared to today. So you had buyers with approvals for cheaper credit who wanted to utilize those approvals before they expired, which isn't necessarily happening today. And we haven't seen the ability for buyers to lock in at lower fixed rates since earlier in this year. So we may not see the rush into the market. If you enjoyed this video and learned something, don't forget to hit both the like and subscribe buttons so you can join our growing community of like-minded people. And if you want to chat further about real estate or your particular real estate needs, drop down to the description and use the first link to book a meeting with me.